Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be making a piggy bank out of foam board, and some things that I'll be using is the Craft and Bestie sticker paper, and this is the matte. They also have the glossy, but today I'm going to be using the matte, and I'm going to be printing with my Epson 7720, and that's just using regular ink. And also you need this craft plastic. So hopefully you can see that. Let's bring it a little closer. Craft plastic that I bought from Amazon. And so yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the template. So I already have the size that I want here, but I'm just going to show you guys how to make it yourself. So what you do, I'm working out of Silhouette Studio. So you want to go to your text panel on your left hand side, click within your workspace. I have my caps lock on because I want it to be a capital letter, and I'm going to select the letter T. I'm going to click on it, and to make it the size I want, I'm just going to click and drag. Once I click and drag and I have it the size that I want it, I want to now select my font. So in order to do that, you go onto your right side to your text style panel, and if you already know what font, what the name of the font is that you want to just click this, highlight everything there and type in the font. For this font I'm using Freshman, so it changed it here. Okay, and when you change your font, depending on what font it is going to change the size of it, so you just, like I said, click and drag. Also, a tip is that you see how it's giving you the measurements for this letter T here. You want to always make a duplicate of whatever you're making before you make changes to it. That way you can always go back to the original if you mess up. So you want to right click, hit duplicate, and put it to the side. Okay, so back to this. You see how the side is 11 by 746 by 8.755. That's not an accurate size because you see this gap here at the bottom. Yeah, that's a lot more space. So what I do, I just right click on it and I hit either ungroup or make compound path. And you see how that size changed to 8.262 versus 8.755. So this gives you a more accurate size. Okay? So I already have the size that I want here. And now what I want to do is I want to make my workspace here on this mat the same size as the paper that I'm using. So you want to go to your page setup panel at the top, and I'm going to change the width to 8.5 and the height to 11. And now you see this outline here. So that's letting you know the size of your the space you have to work with. And I have my T in the middle. Okay, so now with this T, we're going to start creating the layers for the bank. So this is going to be our bottom layer here. And then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to right click and hit copy. And then I'm going to right click and hit paste in front. And what paste in front does is it copies exactly what you had on the bottom, but it just places it right exactly on top of that same letter or same object, same shape, whatever. All right, let me undo that so it goes right back to the front. All right, so this is our front one. And we want to take away the color on this one. So I'm going to go up here to the left side. There's two places you can do this. You can do it up here, or you can go to the fill pan over here. But today I'm going to be working over here. And I'm going to change the color to none. And then I do want to see my line color. So I'm going to change that to red. So now you see a red outline of it. Let's see if we can zoom in some. Right there. Around it. Okay. And so I want to select that, and I want to do an internal offset. So this is the offset panel on the right hand side, and you want to select internal offset, and I want to do an offset of 0.3, and you hit apply, And there you go. So you have your internal offset. So now you have your back panel that's all white. You have this line outline on the outside, and you have your internal offset. So I'm going to highlight all of it, hold down shift, and select my white panel that's in the back so that it deselects it. And only thing selected now is the two outlines. So I'm going to go to Object, Make Compound Path, and that is going to make that one piece. All right, undo that to put it back in the front. And I'm going to add color to it just so I can differentiate between that compound path shape versus the back. So I'm going to go over here to my fill panel, and I'm going to make that black. Now we no longer need the line color, so I'm going to go to that and select none. So you see that? Okay, so that's going to be our offset. That's going to go in the middle of our bank on top of this background. And I already have the wording that I want to go inside of my bank, or what I'm going to print out on my 8.5 by 11 sheet. So I'm going to right click, and right now you see is going to the back. That's because whatever you work on, the last thing you work on is going to be to the front. So I'm going to right click this and select bring to front. So now we can see it, and I'm just going to place it where I want it to go. Any design that you would like on your sheet, just put it in the middle of this space right here. Try not to let it touch the offset, because that's the area you will not see when you put your bank together. All right, so we have that, and we're going to move this to the side, and we're just going to click and drag the back white background and your wording, and I'm going to right click and hit group because we want these two to move together, and I'm going to do a print and cut on that. So to do a print and cut, you want to go to your page setup, and right here it says registration marks, which you want to turn on. Okay, and let's just place this in the middle of those registration marks in the red line. If it's outside of the red line, it will not cut it. Okay, so that's why I made it to the size where it will cut everything for me. So I'm going to go ahead and print this out, and then I'm going to cut it out, and I'll be back. Now that we have this bottom layer cut out, we can go ahead and move that to the side and grab our offset, internal offset. So this will be the next layer that goes on top of that bottom layer. Okay, and so you can basically cut this out of any type of cardstock, any color, whatever, because this is just going to be used as a guide to cut your foam board. Now for our the insert part for the top where you will put the money at, I want to make an opening right up here somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to go to my drawing tool side on the left and select the rectangle. I'm going to make my rectangle, let me do it over here so you can kind of see it. I'm going to make it maybe like 1.5 inches wide. So I'm not going to play around with this. I'm going to try to type in the exact size that I want it to be. And with it selected, you go to the right side panel and hit open transform panel, scale, and right here you can change this size to whatever size you want it to be. So the width, I want it to be 1.5, so I'm going to type 1.5, and I'm going to hit apply. So it changed it to that exact size. This one, the height really doesn't matter as long as it's in the middle of this area. Now, in order for me to make sure this rectangle is in the middle of this top of this T, I'm going to select both of them, click and drag. I'm going to go, well, we're already in our transform panel. So you want to go to this align tool here, and then you want to hit center. And that centers your rectangle in the middle. Okay. Now we want to crop this area out. So we're going to go to our, what is this? Modify panel and hit crop. Sorry, that's the wrong one. We want to subtract it out. So let's undo that at the top and we want to hit subtract. And you see how that subtracted that area out of it for you? Okay, so that's exactly what we want. So now we're going to cut this out. We just need one cutout of this. And we're going to use that cutout as our template when we cut our foam board. Okay? All of our pieces are cut out. And so this is the back layer. And only thing we have to cut out now is our foam board. So with the back layer, we're going to cut out one of these with the foam board. We're going to use this as the template. And this right here, the orange one, is basically our template for our dimensional piece that goes in the middle. So we're going to need 3 of these. So 2 is going to go on the inside on top of this back layer. And then we're going to put this clear plastic layer on top of that. And then for the third dimensional, we're going to put on top of that just to clean it up and make it look finished. Okay, so again, we need, for the foam board cutouts, we need 1 of these, 3 of these. Okay, now let's go ahead and get that part cut out. Trying to make sure you guys can see it as usual. And I might not be able to show you when I cut it out on camera because I can't reach on that side. But I'm just going to place it on this edge and this edge. That's less cutting I have to do. I'm going to trace around it. And then I'm going to use this tool here, which is made by Foamworks, and it's called a straight bevel cutter. So all you do is unscrew this right here, and then hold on, pull it out. Now you have your blade to help you cut along your lines. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out, and then once I cut this out, I'm going to go ahead and lay this on the next section of my foam board and cut 3 of these out. Let's assemble our pieces. And remember I said cut 3 of these out? Actually, you only need 2 because what I did was I cut out a piece of vinyl that's going to go on top of this instead of adding another one of these on top. And I thought that would look a little more finished than the other way. So let's move this out of the way and let's start by getting our back piece. Okay, our Craft and Besties transfer paper that we're going to align with this letter T. And you want to line it up where you want it to go. And then I'm going to use something just to hold it down in place for right now. Use my little lamp. And of course it slid. Alright, just slide it in place where you want it. And I can't remember what, sometimes it makes a difference on what side you put it on. But apparently, okay, this will do. Alright, so I'm going to put this here. Actually, I'm going to put this here at the top. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold over this piece and just peel away part of it. What do I do with my scissors? You want to keep your scissors handy. Okay, so I'm going to just peel away the backing of the transfer tape, not transfer tape, what I'm talking about, of the sticker paper. And I'm just gonna cut, you see how this is the top and this is the backing of it? I'm just gonna cut part of it off. And while it's still in position, I'm going to lay it flat where I want it. And now that way when you lay it on the rest, it'll still be in the same spot that you want it in. So now all you have to do is basically move this, peel this off, and lay it flat as you go. And you can peel the rest off and just press it down in place. All right, so we have that bottom piece. And now we want to take our first layer of the offset, internal offset. And I'm going to put some hot glue just on the bottom of this piece so I can lay it down on top of my base. And just line it up, lay it down, press in place. And you want it as straight as possible on the bottom, because I'm going to figure out a way how to make a stand for it to stand up. Alright, so we got that. Now all we have to do is just add some glue to this side. I just flipped it over just to add the glue on that side, part of it, and align it to the edge of your base and press down. Okay, and you want to do this all the way around. And once you have this on there, now you want to take your second layer and hot glue it on top of that all the way around. Of course, it's not right here because that's your opening. And once I have it all glued down, I'll be right back. My two layers are glued on there on top, and now I'm going to hot glue my plastic layer on top of that. So you just position it where you would like it. I'm going to add a little glue to the bottom just to hold it in place, and then lay it down. All right, and just do that all the way around until all of it is glued down shut. Now for this part, to put this on top, I am going to basically, I cut all the way down here so I can kind of line it up with the bottom. Hopefully that's where I want it to be. Close enough. And then I am going to again place something on top just to hold it in, kind of in place. Excuse me. And I'm going to lift this up, just part of it. And I'm going to cut, excuse me, y'all. Y'all know what? Scratch that. That's taking too long. I'm just going to cut this thing off. This part right here. And I'm going to try to line it up as even as possible, just like this. Let's hope and pray that I got it all right. Or close enough. because I pressed it down and it's on there now. So I'm just going to take up a small part of that, cut some of that off. And the only reason why I'm not pushing it down, laying it down flat, is because I want to make sure this part is at least on there kind of perfect. I don't like how this side is lining up. There. And I'm just going to take the rest off. I'm just gonna do it. Just do it. Ah! Crap. Okay, I lied. I'm not just gonna do it. I'm gonna cut in the middle. See, I just be figuring out stuff as I go. And this is my first time actually making one of these, so. Just kind of figuring it out. Alright, so being that I cut it in the middle, I can now kind of do this side and lay it how I want to. I have more control over where it is going to lay. Trying not to get any wrinkles, but as I can see, I'm getting some of the black that's showing. Crap. Alright, it's gonna work. I'm gonna make it work. Okay, so far, it's pretty much moving it to where I want it to be. After I done fought with it. Something like that. A little something like that. Alright, now let's fight with this side. I'm going to go ahead and peel this transfer paper off. Some of it, anyway. And let's deal with this side. Y'all don't tell me I put the wrong dang side on there. I did. Okay. Let's do this. All right. Let's make it work. Alright, I'm getting it where I want it to be. Mostly. Alright, most of it is laid where I want it to be. So now let's just pull this transfer tape off. Try not to mess up your vinyl. Keep your trash can next to you, always handy. All right, so now we have this. A little bank. A glow forge can definitely make this better, but sometimes you have to work with what you have. So this is what it looks like, and I have her name that I can probably put right here in the middle too. What y'all think? Should I put her name on it? I'm thinking I may. Yep. Why not? All right, let me get some coins to put in there too. I have the money, I have the label. I'm gonna put her name on it. And just line it up wherever you want your name at and place it down. Ah, shoot. Try to be careful. Put it off slowly and not as fast as I just did. Let's fix this. All right. So now her name is on it. Oh, did that? Okay. I see it. Her name is on it. We have her opening here. And I have to figure out how to cover up these edges just to make it look a little more presentable, professional. But in the meantime, I'm just going to do what it do right here. And I'm going to put some money in it. So just something a little fun for the kids to play with, enjoy. You can put dollar bills in it, or they can easy put it in there. You can always dump it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our little 3D piggy bank. And of course you can make it bigger. You can use a larger size cardstock. Or if you don't want anything in the back, you can always make it as big as you want to, pretty much. It can go as big as your imagination. All right, so that's it for today. Any questions, of course, just ask. All right, bye.